just wanted to tell y'all that they told me at the beauty supply store, baby, that the hair about to go up at least $50 a bundle. Look like we gotta go over there. I hope it's not true. But I guess we gotta go over there and get it.
Y'all talking about Temu and Sheen. Guess what else going up? Everything at the beauty supply store. Empire hair, pink lemon hair, edge control, got to be glued. Grandma not mad. Grandma just hurt.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 30. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, shall be praised. Call halal, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH. That's giving our praise to the Most High, in the name of His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to our teachers, the elders, and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us His truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the whole field scattered abroad. Shalom to the 144,000. My name is Ibar from the Prophets in Babylon camp down here in Tampa, Florida. And this is going to be a quick video. Well, I always say that, but you know how the Spirit moves. Lord willing, I can make it quick. You know, concerning this video right here is from GMS Dedication. Watch and subscribe. Drops very edifying videos. Very, very edifying videos. But this particular video, as you see at the top, it says, our beauty supply stores in trouble. Hair tariffs hit hard. All right, and you know about all these tariffs that's hitting, you know, which really they haven't really started hitting yet, but they're really about to start hitting within the next couple of weeks to a month or two. Okay, that's when things are really going to start to, you're going to really start to feel it, because right now they're moving off of the reserves, things they have in the, you know, stored up. But once those things run out, you know, it's going to be a lack of these things, which is going to cause prices to go up. All right, and eventually you're not going to be able to find these things at all. But the title says a time to go natural, okay? A time to go natural. And these women, they love this weave, okay? Because they're envying their oppressor, all right? They don't want to go natural, all right? That's something that they despise. They have no intent on going natural, which that's been a thing for a minute now. You know, brothers been saying how they don't like this weave. You know, men would rather these women go natural, you know? But the truth of the matter is our women, they're under the curses and they don't have a lot of hair. All right, to go natural with. All right. It says Trump's tariffs are about to make it unbelievable for Eve. All right. So it's going to come into a point where you women out here are about to get humbled. That's why I titled the lesson, A Time of Humbling. Okay. Because when you see the so-called black woman, especially, you know, but I remember it was a video a while back. I may have spoke on it before, of a little girl. You know, it was a little girl, a little black girl, so-called black girl, Israelite. She had she was, you know, she had her mom's wig or something, and she would put it on her head, and she would be she kept acting all like, you know, all cute and, you know, acting like she was all, you know, all there, and then they would take the wig off and the little girl would cry, you know, and then she'll put the wig back on and she'll start crying, take the wig off, she'll start crying, which shows you that these women, it's in their spirit that they know they're supposed to have long hair. Okay, a woman is supposed to have long hair, all right? Now you got women that's walking around here bald with fades. That's completely off, all right? And that's not the spirit that Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI put you women in, that you're supposed to be in. But because of your pride, your arrogancy, okay, your wantonness, the Lord had to humble you, so He stripped you and made you bald. You got something called alopecia, where a lot of, you know, these women, when they get older, they start to get bald spots. Their hair, you know. Then you have the whole thing with the perms. Jake was getting perms growing up, or getting hit with a hot comb, and that was damaging your hair. Now your hair is forever damaged, your scalp. And it was a scientist, you know, or not a scientist. I believe it was like a coroner or something like that, you know, which they was dealing with, you know, these, you know, this dead woman, and she had these spots on her head, and they asked her what was those spots on her head or on her brain. I believe it was on her brain. It was spots on her brain. And they asked, you know, what was the spots on her brain, and the lady told her that comes from getting perms, you know, with these harsh chemicals. These women are getting these perms, and it's just really frying their brains. But even the weave comes from, you know, these other countries. It's getting prayed over. It's fake. It got chemicals in it. It was another video I wanted to do. It's in my archive. You know, I'm going to do it a while back. I hadn't gotten around to it, Lord, and I will soon. You know, or I'll just speak on it here. But it was a video. It was a woman talking about how the weave is carcinogenic, okay, which means it causes cancer. You know, it has chemicals in it. So you got people that putting this weave in their hair. That stuff is sticking to your scalp, okay? It's sticking to your scalp. Is, you know, is pretty much making you, you know, bug out. These women, they got spirits on them because of that weave. All right, so YAHAWASHI is stripping that away, okay? Also, when the person that's braiding the hair, which my mom braids hair, you know, she's been doing this since I was a kid. That's how she made her living, braiding hair, you know? But when you braid hair too, that there's, that causes cancer as well. When you burn the hair, they burn the ends of the hair, or they put it in hot water, the steam come on off that hair is the chemicals. You breathe that in, that's causing cancer. So this stuff isn't good for you no way, okay? It's all through the Spirit of the Lord is cutting it, all right? But as the Lord, shuts down this market, which you got Moab that's running these Chinese stores in the hood, pretty much, benefiting off of our people. So with this stuff shutting down, it's going to lead to what? These women walking around here, wearing their natural hair, the little ass ponytail. Sometimes their hair can't even fit into a ponytail. And they're going to be humbled, okay? You will be humbled. Because these women, when they put this weave in their head, they actually act like it's their real hair. You will tell them that ain't even your real hair. It is mine. I paid for it. But it's not your real hair, you see? So it's a blessing for a woman to have long hair. And it's a curse for a woman not to have long hair. But our women, to make up for it, they've been wearing this weave. And now the Lord is bringing an end to that. All right? So let's bring this back. And we'll play it. This is Proverbs chapter 31, verse 30. It says, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. You see? So being, getting all dolled up, being pretty, trying to be, beautiful, making yourselves beautiful, that's vain. Because as soon as they take away that weave, guess what? You back to looking like Chewbacca. Okay? You back to looking like Little Bill. All right? It says, but a woman that feareth Yahweh Shem Yahushai shall be praised. So that's what it's about. Do you women fear Yahweh Shem Yahushai? Or you fear not having your hair done, not, having that weave hat on, okay? I remember back in the day, it was a shameful thing for a woman to wear a wig, Now these women brag about wearing a wig like no tomorrow, okay? My wig. They'll blatantly tell you they got a wig on. Back in the day, that was something that was hidden. If somebody had a wig on, they wouldn't announce it. It was something that was on the low, on the hush. It was, you wouldn't know it was a wig unless it came off. But nowadays, it shows you how much the shame is gone. All right. But it says in the NLT, it says, charm is deceptive. You see, charm is deceptive and beauty does not last. So that beauty, okay, all this beauty is not going to last. This is why when Isaiah 4:1 come, brothers ain't going to be thirsty to take every woman that come begging. Okay, because you women are going to get brought back to your lower state. You ain't going to be walking around with, 20 inches of weave in your head. You ain't going to be walking around with your nails done. All that stuff comes from China. 90% of the stuff that they're going to say in them beauty stores come from China. Okay, the Chinese people are running those stores. So beauty does not last. Your beauty is not going to last. Okay, and once these lights go out, that means the water gonna go out. You women ain't gonna have no. You ain't gonna be able to take a bath. You ain't gonna be able to put all that makeup on. So you're gonna be bald headed, scallywag, got no hair in the back, and you're gonna be stinking. Okay, stink. So this right here, like I said in the caption, in the title, a great humbling. The great humbling. The Lord is about to humble you women. Okay, it says beauty does not last, but a woman who fears the Lord will be greatly praised. That's right. So you women that fear the Lord in your right minds and the right spirit, you're going to be the ones that's going to be sought after, that's going to be taken care of. But the woman that's out here all about their beauty, You know, you can't tell them shit. You know, when they got that weave on, they are around here, you know, flaunting it, you know, being in all type of man's face. These women be having a man, you know, in the other man's faces. You know, in those Islamic in the Islamic culture, the women, they have their heads covered, okay? And that's a sign of a woman being married. If a woman is married, she has her head covered. Why? Because hair is attractive to a man. A woman that has long, beautiful hair, that's attractive to a man. Okay, so because so that the woman don't cause the man to lust after her, she has her head covered, which in our customs, which, you know, they really got it from us, our women are supposed to have their head covered. You know, you're not supposed to be walking around showing, you know, your hair, flinging your hair. You remember that shit back in the day in school. You used to be in school and you had Jake woman coming up with the long braids and they'll be flinging it, you know, 3 feet into the air, smacking people all in the face with it. You know, that's proud, okay? That's a proud thing. So Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, he's coming down to bring the humbling. All right? Now, let's play this. Yep. Let's play this.
I just wanted to tell y'all that they told me at the beauty supply store, baby, that the hair about to go up at least $50 a bundle. Look like we gotta go over there. I hope it's not true, but I guess we gotta go over there and get it.
Y'all talking about Timo and Sheen. Guess what else going up? Everything at the beauty supply store. Empire hair, pink lemon hair, edge control, got to be glued. Grandma not mad. Grandma just hurt.
How Trump's tariffs are hitting beauty supply stores and ultimately your wallet. Eve wallet. As a result of these tariffs, synthetic braiding hair that once cost $3 to $5 a pack may now cost $10 to $12 to customers. Ladies, I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. Trump's tariffs are impacting our favorite store, the beauty supply store, which is you black woman. For the last few weeks, the consequences of President Trump's trade war over international imports, particularly China, have become more and more real. It's getting real, okay? It's getting real. And call HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, and QADASH for, you know, allowing this to take place. We know what time we're in, okay? We know what time we're in. This is Isaiah 32, verse 9 to 11 in the New Living Translation, the NLT. It says, "Listen, you women who lie around in ease. Listen to me, you who are so smug." And these women are very smug, okay? Let's look at this word smug real quick. All right? These women are very smug, very proud. You can't tell them nothing, all right? They act like they got it all figured out. They don't need a man, this, that, and the third. All right? Let's see. Smug. Smug means having or showing an expressive pride in oneself or one's achievements. And that's these especially the so-called black women, but these women in general, with the women's movement, feminism, these women have an excessive, they're showing or having an excessive pride in oneself, okay? Just because you may look good, you may be pretty, you know, and a lot of these women, they put the weave on, the makeup on, the eyelashes, you know, they got the girdle on. So really that beauty that you see on these women is not real, okay? It's a fantasy. Because if when the moment she come out of all that stuff, you know, she gonna look like a damn Chewbacca, you know, a monster, okay? It says, in a short time, just a little more than a year, you careless ones will suddenly begin to care. Right? You're going to begin to care. Right now, you don't care about a nigga. I don't care about a nigga. Oh, okay, you don't care about the men. You disrespect the men. But pretty soon, the Lord is about to bring a great humbling through this place, and you're going to begin to care. You're going to begin to understand, you know, where the true value is. Nowadays, these women think that they're the prize. Well, truthfully, the man is the prize. If you have a man, you're going to be in a lot better position than a woman that don't have a man, okay? There is no such thing as an independent woman because you all depend on the government. You all depend on 911 if somebody breaking your house. You all depend on some way, somehow, a man to come and save you when you're in a time of trouble. Okay? It says, reading on, bring it back. It says, listen, you women who lie around in ease. And these women, they lying around in ease. They getting all these benefits, all these, which I did a video on that too, about the, you know, these assistance programs are shutting down. Section 8, you know, food stamps, you name it. Okay, the Lord's shutting all that down. Child support, that's going to stop coming. But these women, they lie around, you know, they have these, you know, these jobs where they ain't really got to do much. So you see us men, we got to go out there and break your back, you know, hard labor, you know, to make your daily bread. These women, you know, all they got to do is sit on the phone or sit in front of a computer, and they making, you know, more money than the men that's, you know, that's really putting in the work. Well, that's all about to come to an end, because Esau, he has put these women up above the men. These women, the Lord has had it where Esau has allowed this woman to surpass the man. Okay, Scripture says a new thing is in earth: a woman shall compass a man, and that's, you know, what we see in these last days. These women have completely compassed their men, and because of that, they don't respect, or in certain cases, even desire a man, because they feel like, you know, they don't need a man, right? It says, listen to me, you who are so smug. And the word for smug is heavy or showing an excessive pride in oneself or one's achievements. That's that pride. Okay? Snatch a bitch wig off and see how humble she get. All right? It says, in a short time, just a little more than a year, you careless ones will suddenly begin to care. Yes, yeah, you're going to start to care. You're going to start to see the value of a man very soon. It says, for your fruit crops will fail, and the harvest will never take place. Right? Lord gonna, you know, pretty much shut it down. Okay? Tremble, ye women of ease, throw off your complacency. And you're very complacent. Strip off your pretty clothes and put on burlap to show your grief.
While the bundles of hair and shelves of oils at beauty supply store Pink Noir are miles away from President Donald Trump's tariffs overseas, in Memphis, Tennessee, owner Chastity Monroe says price hikes will soon hit close to home. There are so many different products in this store. Where do you get most of them from? Are they manufactured in the United States?
Nope.
No.
Look at Eve. Now she got a weave on her head right there. It's a lock here.
Overseas, in Memphis, Tennessee, owner Chastity Monroe says price hikes will soon.
Look at this. You go into these weave stores, and like I said, my mom, you know, she did hair. She does hair. You know, she done it since I was, before I was even born. She was always doing hair. So I know all about, you know, I ain't gonna say all about, but a little about this whole weave business. All right, I've been into these hair stores, you know, since I was a kid. You know, had to go with my mom. You know, always having weave around the house, packs of weave and stuff. You know, and it's just something that, you know, Jake had to grow up around, so we know about it. You know. But these stores, the people who are majority in these stores is the so-called black woman, okay? That's who these stores are for. And these nations, they come to our neighborhoods and make a killing off of this vanity, okay? It's synthetic, okay? Or if it's real hair, it was hair that was prayed over. You got demons on it. So these women, they out here, you know, they go crazy about this weave. And now the Lord is shutting all that down. Okay, we're seeing this place collapse. We're seeing this place come to naught. And that means all the vanity and garbage, you know, that was being promoted here is going down with it. So something like this with these weave stores, this is going to be a thing of the past. Okay, they're going to shut this down. These people that's here, these Chinese people that's running these stores, they're going to, you know, sell these businesses or sell these, you know, this stuff and go back to China, you know. So after a while, you women ain't going to be able to get your hair done. You ain't going to be able to have no weave in your head. You're going to have to go natural. And men are going to see you for who you really are, okay? Not this facade you put on, this makeup, okay? This witchcraft.
Hit close to home. There are so many different products in this store. Where do you get most of them from? Are they manufactured in the United States?
No. So I like to say the entire store really exists in the international trade, right? About 90% of the items are sourced from China.
from China specifically.
Yes.
When President Trump imposed a 145% tariff on imports from China, Monroe says her vendors hiked prices, and the increase will soon hit her store shelves. I normally have a short afro. Yeah. Right now, I've got about 4 packs in for my braids.
Yeah.
How much would that cost?
Very rarely do you see a Jake running one of these stores, owning one of these stores. Now it's, you know, it does happen, but it's rare. Usually it's Moab, the Chinese people that's running these stores. I remember a few months back, or maybe even a year or so back, it was a report, you know, during the pandemic about one of those stores, one of these weave stores that a Jake woman was running. It went out of business. Okay, so they had to throw all the weave away, I believe, or it was all like piled up in the front because they got kicked out of the building. So they threw everything out in front of the building, and you had a bunch of, you know, nigga women, you know, up there digging in a trash can and, you know, picking this weave up. All right. So like I said, these women out here that's completely lost, have no idea what's going on, don't understand the times. They out here thinking it's all sweet, but they don't realize that, you know, the life that you've been living is coming to an end. Okay, the ease, the complacency that you've been in is coming to an end. The Lord is shutting it down. All right, let's play some more.
With tariffs.
Yeah, so, you know, just like a pack of hair like this, you know, that would be $6.99. So this could very well be double the price.
So a lot of these increases are ultimately,
And that's expensive business, big business.
Absolutely.
in the United States, black hair care is estimated to be a $2.5 billion industry.
Look at that. Boy, that's crazy. And they said black hair care. Black hair care. You see that? What happened? This computer is crazy, man. I got to get it looked at or something. So lock yes. Black hair care is what they called it, man. All right. So you black women and your weave, the Lord is about to strip you and make you bare.
Like a pack of hair like this, you know, that would be $6.99. So this could very well be double the price.
So a lot of these increases are ultimately, it sounds like, going to the consumer.
Absolutely.
In the United States, black hair care is estimated to be a $2.5 billion industry.
Black hair care is estimated to be a $2.5 billion industry. Okay? And who you think is making all that money? Moab. You come over here, they the ones making all that money, man. Okay? So the Lord is shutting them down, and he's shutting you black women down. They just put up a statue in New York of a black woman with long weave, long braided weave, pants on, overweight, you know, which Eve, the so-called black woman, okay, the Israelite woman, has had a part in this kingdom, okay? This is partially your kingdom as well, because you've been put on a pedestal here, going back to the deal that Eve made with the serpent in the garden, all right, which that serpent was spiritually Esau, all right? But let's go right here. It says, this is the book of Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16. Moreover, the Lord Yahawah says, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes. Proud. You can't tell them nothing. Like I said, go look at one of these women when they get their hair done. They neck all stretched out, rolling their eyes. You know, I see it, bro. I see it so much. And you ever see a black woman when their hair ain't done, they're more quiet. They're more, you know, to themselves. They're more, you know, they got the bonnet on, you know. But this weave, it makes them proud. There's a spirit on that weave, man. It makes them feel beautiful, right? It says, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and menacing as they go and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore, the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion. And this is why a lot of the so-called black women have short hair, okay? Patches, all right? And his weave makes it worse. But the Lord said he will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, meaning he gonna make you bald. And a lot of these women, they don't have a lot of hair. They're bald head, you know. In most cases, the men have longer hair than the women in the so-called black community. Okay? It says, and the Lord Yahawah will discover their secret parts, right? Everything you try to hide, you know, it's all being, you know, exposed. You know, this is why these women walk around with the booty shorts on, the cleavage showing. You know, there's no shame. Okay? They'll cover everything but their head. Or it's like they got everything uncovered but their head. They always got that weave hat on. Okay? It says, in that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their twinkling ornaments about their feet, and their coils and their round tires like the moon, all that jewelry and all that garbage they have on. You know, all the accessories, which they sell at these beauty stores too, the accessories, the fake jewelry, big old bangles of, you know, big old earrings that said diva and all this other crazy shit. You know, those fake gold bracelets that be dangling, you know, the anklets. It says the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets. You know, you got these. That's another thing too. These women wearing bonnets. They go out in public with bonnets on. That's ridiculous. Okay, they be all out in public with bonnets on. All right, you're not supposed to be out in public like that. That's you know. But that's the closest thing you can get to a woman covering her, to a black woman covering her head. She gonna wear a bonnet. It says the ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and nose jewels, which they sell all this stuff at those beauty stores. Okay, the cheap earrings, the cheap, you know, accessories. That's not real. The shit is cost like 2 cents to make, but they'll charge you $5 for it. And Jacob be out there wearing it, they thinking that they pretty, they beautiful. Really, it's all in vain. It says the changeable suits of apparel and the mantles and the and the whiplets, the wimples and the crisping pins, you know, which they sell these scantily clad clothes in there too. Sometimes they'll have like the little mannequins, you know, with the big booty and the small figure, you know, showing, you know, advertising the off the clothes, you know, the scantily clad clothes they sell in there too. It says the glasses, and if you live in the hood or anywhere near the hood or rode through the hood, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, I grew up around this stuff, so I know that shit is real. You know, it says the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils, and it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell there shall be stink, and that's another thing with our women. Okay, they used to actually bathe with precious ointments and oils, you know, and soak in the water. Now they take a 5-minute shower, okay, a bird bath in the sink, and walk out there, you know, head held high, weave on, no clothes on, and smelling like death between their legs, man. Okay, stank. And brothers know, you women know too. And these women, you have to first of all check your pH balance. Make sure that you got a good pH balance. Man, you can't be eating Cheetos and drinking Pepsis all day, every day, man. Which you shouldn't eat or drink that shit at all. But that messes up your pH balance. Not to mention these women are sleeping with multiple men, letting men, you know, splurge all up in them, splooge all up in them, you know, different men. That messes up your pH balance, so that causes you to stink, you know. And every now and then, you know, you're going to get a whiff of some Badussy, okay? And if you don't know what Badussy is, it's booty and Pussy, all right? I'm keeping it flat. I'm keeping it plain. Badussy. That's what these women smell like when they don't shower. They smell like Badussy, all right? So as this place go down, you're going to have no weave, no nails done, okay? One of the brothers had a dream about that. I believe it was a brother from Dallas. He had a dream where basically it was all hell breaking loose, Jacob's trouble, and a woman came begging for help, and she still had them long claw nails. He'd been wearing them long claw nails, and he said, "Why you still got them nails?" She said, "It reminds me of when things were all good still, you know? But it was all dirty and stuff." So the Lord is about to shut this place down, all right? And my auntie, she does nails, ironically. Ain't that crazy? So, like I said, $6.5 billion industry, they make a lot of money off of Jake. And it starts with our women. Then you have some of these men in there that be gay. You know, they wearing a wig. It's just complete throughness. All right? So bringing that back, and it says, "And it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be stink." You know. Okay? Every brother out there done smelled some Badussy before. Okay? You done smelled it before, especially when these women are on their period. When they're on their period, you know, these women, they have no like, you know, so they'll, you know, whatever, man. Okay, I don't, I shouldn't even have to explain anymore. All right. It says, and instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well set hair, baldness. So instead of a hair full of head, a head full of hair, because in the ancient world, you had an account where a woman washed Yahawashai's feet with her hair, meaning what? She had long hair. Okay. To wash somebody's feet with your hair, you had to have long hair. Our women had long, beautiful hair down their backs. Okay. And some women may still have it, but most of our women don't have it. They're losing, and that's the curse to put upon our women. All right. So it's that, and instead of a girdle, and instead of a girdle, a rent, meaning these women they're all out of shape now. A lot of them are wearing girdles. You may see a woman, you may think, damn, she got a nice body. 9 times out of 10, she's wearing a girdle. Okay. Oh, it's another word for it. What's the other word for it? A shape. I forgot the other word for it. All right. But in this case, we'll just call it a girdle. It says, and instead of well set hair, baldness. Okay, what happened with Will Smith's wife? Okay, when what's that guy Chris Rock kind of mocked her hair, calling her G.I. Jane. She got upset. Will Smith went up there and slapped him. He laughed at first, but he saw how his wife was upset, so he went up there and smacked the dude, which that was all a psyop. But that right there shows you that these women, they know they're supposed to have hair. Okay. It says, and a woman is bugged the hell out, got demons on them whenever they cut their hair. They walking around with a damn, fade, waves. That's off. When a woman is supposed to have no hair, you're supposed to have hair. All right, that's a part of your covering. It says, and instead of well set hair, baldness, and instead of a stomacher, of girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. This is what we see now amongst our women. Okay, it's what we see. Okay, so this is something that's serious amongst our community. Let's read this in the NLT. All right, I'm gonna bring all this back and read it in the NLT as well, so I can make it clear. Okay, it says, verse 16. Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16 in the NLT. The Lord says, beautiful Zion is haughty, which our women are very beautiful. Now their beauty has been taken away, but as we come back to Yahweh BAHASHAM, the Lord said he's going to beautify his people again. But, the Jake woman, for what it is, a lot of them are very beautiful in their own way, when they're, in shape, whenever they're, when they have hair, And a lot of the women like that of our women, these Edomites get them. We saw that yesterday at camp. It was an Eve who was in perfect shape, looked fine as hell, and she was with an Edomite. They was over there playing tennis or whatever. So she was active. She was moving. But that's very few in between. She might have been a tear, honestly. But she had a nice body and stuff. But the woman of our women like that, the heathens get them. You see a heathen with a so-called black woman, they're going to be the finest black woman, that you probably ever seen. Okay, which that's also a part of the curses. So don't get it twisted. When we come into our kingdom, we're going to have your woman, okay? The finest of your woman. Now you see Jake with a white woman. She look like a fridge, okay? You know how the fridge is white or beige. She look like a fridge, all right? That's going to be a thing of the past too, all right? But it says, the Lord says, beautiful Zion is haughty, craning her elegant neck, flirting with her eyes. That's what the women do too. They'll be, looking at men all flirtatiously. Why are they with a man? Okay. You call it IFing you. Okay, these women try to IF you. All right. Walking with dainty steps, tinkling her ankle bracelets. Which I remember being in school, high school, middle school. These women, they would be wearing all them bangles on their wrists. Even my sisters used to wear them and stuff. I'll be honest. But when they used to walk across the classroom, you heard them dangling. Ching, 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 ching. It was like a whole bunch of jiggling, made a bunch of noise. And that was to cause what? Attention. They want attention, right? Which there's a saying, in the world, how a woman is supposed to be seen and not heard, Nowadays, these women are loud, they want to get all this attention. But a woman is supposed to be seen and not heard, all right? You shouldn't hear a woman, you know, a mile away. That's off. It says, so the Lord will send scabs on her head. And these women, they actually have scabs, whether it be the alopecia and their head don't grow back in certain places, or they get scabs from wearing that weave. You know, that weave causes scabs as well. Causes you to go bald, causes you to be, you know, pretty much, you know, bald headed. It says, so the Lord will send scabs on her head. The Lord, YAHAWASHI, will make beautiful Zion bald. And that's why I put in the caption that as well. The Eve is about to be bald. You about to be bald headed, which you're already bald headed, but it's going to be really, it's going to show when that weave is gone. Okay. When that weave is gone, it's going to show. It's going to really show. It says, on that day of judgment, the Lord will strip away everything that makes her beautiful. And this is a part of it, the beauty stores. Small businesses brace for global trade war. This is a part of it, man. This is prophecy coming to pass. Everything we talk about on this channel and channels like this is prophecy coming to pass. The Lord about to strip you, women, and make you bare. Okay? Gird your sackcloth upon your loins. The Lord is about to strip you. He about to shut this shit down. Now these women, they riding around in a brand new Altima, you know, hair done, nails done, everything did. Can't tell them shit. You look, hey, how you doing? She look down on you. You hold the door for her. She won't even say thank you. You know, hey, they proud as hell right now, and rightfully so. This is your kingdom too. But as this kingdom go down, so do you women go down with it. All right. And you're going to be in your right mind in the kingdom. On that day of judgment, the Lord will strip away everything that makes her beautiful. Ornaments, headbands, crescent necklaces. And that's another thing too, the necklaces, you know, with the big old pendants, you know, with their name, or, you know, it's a diva or a princess or whatever. You know, they sell that at them stores too. It says earrings, bracelets and veils, scarves, ankle bracelets, sashes, perfumes, and charms. Yeah, all that. Rings, jewels, party clothes. Look at that, party clothes. Gowns, capes, and purses. They sell the purses there too. The fake, you know, the knockoff purses. It's all in these beauty stores, man. This is all, it's a soul to spirit, because when you go into these beauty stores, they sell all this stuff. They don't just sell weed. They sell all this stuff that's being listed right here. Okay? And who go into them stores? Eve, the so-called black woman. Northern Kingdom sometimes too. Maybe sometimes even Edomites, but majority you so-called black woman. Judah, the head tribe. It says mirrors, fine linen garments, head ornaments, and shawls. It says instead of smelling of sweet perfume, she will stink. And yeah, they sell them cheap perfumes there too. These women, they always got perfume. I said, woman at my job, she Northern Kingdom, but she's a, you know, she's a heavy set woman. You know, she's really fat as hell. I ain't gonna hold it. And you pass by her, and she smells like, you know, perfume. And I seen it in her bag. She got a big old thing of perfume. But I work in a warehouse. Okay, I work in a warehouse, and especially in the summer, it gets hot. So they give us fans or whatever. But you know, when you move from by that fan, you sweating. You know. So what she does is she drenches herself in perfume so you don't smell her BO. You don't smell her body odor, because after a while, the women start to stink. You know, when when it's hot. So imagine when Esau shut this system down and ain't no AC, okay? Ain't no AC, it ain't no running water. These women are going to begin to smell so bad, okay? The brothers are gonna be thinking about popping a woman when she smell the way she smell. The reason why, you know, men want to pop women is because of what they're, you know, you got to be attractive. You know, if you're not attractive to a man, he's not gonna want to pop you. So if the first thing they smell is, you know, body odor, men ain't gonna be thinking about popping you, man. So it's gonna be a lot easier to leave these women wherever you found them at. You know, simping is gonna be on an all-time low. It says instead of it says instead of smelling of sweet perfume, she will stink. I remember, you know, growing up, the girls used to do that too. They used to spray the perfume on their private parts, which is not good for you. That's bad. That'll mess you all up. But they'll spray perfume on their private parts, you know, to try to mask that smell. All right. Hey, we all adults here. Let's be real. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. Okay? This is the truth. It says she will wear a rope of sash and her elegant hair will fall out. Yeah, we all used to have elegant hair. Well, guess what? Now it's falling out. You know, every time you comb your damn hair, you got big old clumps in the comb. You know, you going bald. You see women, you see that amongst these Edomite damn women now. You know, their hair starting to thin out. You know, which is all as these curses flip. I can grab that too. Let me see. I can grab that too. As these curses flip, these curses are going to fall upon our enemies. All right. But it says, let me finish this up. It says, and her elegant hair will fall out. She will wear rough burlap instead of rich robes. Shame will replace her beauty. And that's the time we're coming into. Shame is they're about to replace you women's beauty. Okay. Yeah. Shame is going to replace all that beauty, all that, you know, being fair and pretty. Shame is going to replace that. Okay. And that's YAHAWASHI that's doing that, man. All right. Forgot what I was finna grab. It just came and left. Lord, when it come back to me, let's play some more of this.
Industry and loyal customers are bracing for impact.
I know they talk about everything else, but I want to know about the hair products.
This is important for Black women, especially our beauty, our hair. Sometimes we may not even be able to get a job if we don't look a certain way.
Foreign suppliers are critical to small businesses like Monroe's. Some vendors encouraging buyers to take advantage of the now 90-day pause on tariffs for other countries, like Cambodia, where Butter Baby Hair Imports owner Shadara McGilberry sources her products.
We're not passing that on to the customers at the moment.
Do you expect that to change?
Look at her.
Most definitely, it's definitely going to have to change. If it doesn't change, we'll end up going out of business.
Economist Trevon Logan says many Black-owned mom-and-pop shops aren't in a position to adjust to a global trade war.
The smallest fish in the largest possible pond does not have that sort of negotiating power. The second problem is you think one of the things that you would do is buying a lot of things now before the tariffs hit. But if you're a small business, you don't have a lot of space to stock all of that inventory.
Or the money.
From the Trump administration.
Or the money. Okay? Or the money. Look at this, all the hair products. Bro, this is like nostalgia, because I remember I haven't been in a hair store in years, because, you know, I'm older, you know, I obviously, but when I was young, you know, a child, and being with my mom, I used to see all this stuff, you know. This is 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 6. But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth, right? So our women that's living in pleasure, you know, you can't tell them nothing. They don't realize they're dead while they're living, okay? You on your way, you on your way out. The best thing you can do is, you know, to get right with the Lord, you know, get with a man, cleave unto a man, and be in order, all right? You got women that, you know, they'll get with a man, they want him to pay for their hair, and that hair, between the weave and the style, be $300, $400, $500. Anybody paying for that shit, man? Especially as, you know, this economy is going bad. Anybody paying for that shit? You better go, you know, wear your natural hair, okay? Or put, really, like I tell women, hey, cover your head, you know? You ain't supposed to have all that hair, all that hair showing like that anyways. It says, in the NLT, 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 6, but the widow who lives only for pleasure is spiritually dead even while she lives. These women are spiritually dead, okay? That's why they desire stuff like this. That's why they're into stuff like this. All right? They are, and oh, would you look at that? And this is a spirit too, because today just happens to be so-called Mother's Day, right? Today just happens to be so-called Mother's Day, and I'm down here in Florida. It's been raining all day. All right, I saw a video of these women. They went and got on a boat. You know, they drinking, and on the boat they got food. It's all women on there, and dykes. I'm like, Happy Mother's Day, and you look in the distance at the sky. It's all gloomy outside. You know, these are signs from YAHAWASHI, and this video just came out today, okay, or late last night. It's all through the spirit. This is all happening around this time, because today just happened to be so-called Mother's Day. Which that's wickedness. You're not supposed to be celebrating Mother's Day. All right, you women that's celebrating Mother's Day, you're gonna be the ones that's gonna be affected when these harsh times come. Okay, because you're you know, knowingly or unknowingly worshiping false gods. All right. So here it is, so-called Mother's Day. It's gloomy as hell outside. You know, it's raining. Can't really go out and do nothing besides, you know, whatever, go out and get something to eat or whatever. But it's a gloomy day. Then you hear this news right here. The hair stores, prices gonna go up in these hair stores. So these women, they starting to feel it. All right? They starting to feel it. Let's play some more.
That the end goal is to, in part, bring manufacturing back to the U.S. You've said that because of some of the pricing, you might bring these products, the manufacturing, to the country. So is it working?
I think it is working, but it's not working. So it becomes unaffordable.
At Pink Noir, Monroe also sells her own hair care line. Since the tariffs, she's explored making the products here in the United States.
The minimum order quantities are astronomical for a small business.
And I've been struck that throughout this conversation, often you've had a bit of a
She pretty as
smile.
hell. She pretty as hell. Look, this right here is an interviewer. I'm playing back, Salat.
Are astronomical
Both
for
of
a
them
small
pretty.
business.
I ain't gonna hold
And
you.
I've been struck that throughout.
Both of them pretty. But and I put a video up, a short up a few weeks ago. I'll find it, Lord willing, before I click in this. I'll find it. I'm probably gonna be able to play this whole video. It's already we what, almost 50 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun. But you know, see how this woman right here, she looks, you know, she got the weave on too. This is not her hair, this is weave. All right, and she looked pretty right here. But she probably the newscast or the news company sent her here because she know all about this. All right, she probably shop at this very store. She got them earrings from the store, this hair from the store, the lip gloss from the store, the makeup. But when all this shit is wiped off, okay, when she doesn't have any of this on, she gonna look like Lil Bill, okay, Chewbacca. You gotta have some fun with this, all right. But this is the truth, all right. This is the truth. The Lord is humbling you women, okay, and we all for it. Call HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH, the water, YAHWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI. Because we getting stumped on. We getting snuffed out by the arrogancy of these women. And the Lord is really about to do a power switch where he's going to put you women that's on top at the bottom and the men back on top as it's supposed to be. Okay? These women are proud as hell, arrogant. I don't need a man. Okay. We're going to see. Okay? These women spending tens of thousands of dollars going to some career, some school. Your career is supposed to be serving your man. Okay? Your career is supposed to be serving your man. If he starts a business, you're supposed to work in his business, not trying to go start your own fucking business. You out of order. You see that amongst these other nations. They're women, they work in a house or you know, or they're in a house taking care of the kids, or they work in their man's business. They're not trying to go start their own businesses. That's off. Okay? Or they putting $10,000, $20,000 in their ass, getting ass shots, getting BBLs, getting lip Botox, whatever they got, whatever they doing, getting their breast implants done. They putting thousands of dollars into that. Okay? Instead of putting it into the house. It's something that we got to deal with as men. Like, damn, bitch, hold up. All this money going to over here, it's supposed to be coming in the house. You know? Granted, these women, not a lot of times that they make more money than their men. And what do they do with that? Folly. Okay? Vanity. As I brought it in the beginning, beauty is vain.
Throughout this conversation, often you've had a bit of a smile. But when
She's smiling, but she's crying on the inside.
The risk to
I watched the movie Get Out.
That smile did fade.
Look, that smile did fade. Yeah, she's smiling, but she's crying on the inside. She know that her business is through. Okay? She know that she's through. Deep down inside, these women know they're through. But they gonna rock out till the wheels fall off. But deep down inside, they know they through, man. And she gonna call it out. She said, I see you smiling, but when we brought up this and that third, your smile started to fade. Yeah. Realistically, that smile finna fade. Them smiles gonna turn to frowns. The Lord is about to humble you women. Okay? You're gonna smell like fish and shit. You're gonna be bald-headed, patched up. Okay? Alopecia. Bees in your head. Okay? The Lord is about to bring a great humbling through this place. You're gonna see.
often you've had a bit of a smile. But when we talked about sort of the risk to your business, that smile did fade a bit. And I wonder, how has this felt for you as a small business owner?
There's absolutely fear. But I will say this, we are resilient. I come from a resilient people. For me, this is legacy. It's not just a beauty, a place where people are getting pretty. This is a community thing. So
a community
all of the
thing.
work we've all done as a community then goes down the drain. And that's what I'm fearful of.
This is Ecclesiastes. I'm going to read it as, the brother put him up here too. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 3 in the NLT. Remember him before your legs, the guards of your house start to tremble. Before your shoulders, the strong men stoop. Remember him before your teeth, your few remaining servants. Your few remaining servants stop grinding. The grinding is ceasing. This is jobs that's going to be lost, okay? This is jobs that's going to get lost. Not only jobs, but, people ain't going to have the money to do any of this stuff anymore. It says the woman looking through the windows see dimly. And before your eyes, the woman looking through the windows see dimly. These women are looking out the window right now, and it's looking very bleak. It's looking very dim, okay? It's looking very bad. It's looking bad, man. It's looking bad. Ooh, it's looking very bad right now. Okay, but we know this is YAHAWASHI Yahshua that's doing this. Like I say in the title, a great humbling. People are about to be humbled, bro. Okay, you about to be humbled. And even us, we've been humbled. This is the time of us being humble. We ain't proud right now. This is the time of us being humble. We had to be subject to a lot of bullshit, a lot of hell in this society. And now the Lord is bringing it full circle, okay? We had to be humble for us to be risen up. Scripture says, before honor cometh humility, all right? And in the kingdom of heaven, our women are going to be, honored as well. You're going to be good in the kingdom. But before that comes, you will be humbled. You will have to face humility, okay? I know that sounds far-fetched now, but don't worry, it's all going to make sense, okay?
Let's talk about money. Right now, many businesses are feeling the pinch of increased tariffs, and that includes beauty products. Our News 19 reporter, Victoria Samuel, is joining us right now live in the studio. Victoria, not my hair products.
Yeah, Erica, from stylists to supply shops, owners and customers are being forced to make tough decisions.
Look at this.
I had the chance to talk to some of them to...
Look at this, man. Look at this. All right. Now, this might be her actual hair, though. All right, this might be her actual hair. And a lot of Jake women, they'll do this. All right, they'll get their hair straightened. Because some of them, I ain't gonna lie, some of them still got hair. Shit. Some of these women still got, but this is nothing compared to what it's supposed to be. Okay, if her hair is right here, her hair is really supposed to be down her back. You see some of the Northern Kingdom tribes, their hair down their back. That's how Eve was too, the so-called black woman was too. All right, but the Lord put a curse upon them. So it went from down your back to just right here. All right, but this right here is what the beloved elder apostle Paul calls, what do you call her? And what's the word, man? what do you call her? Call him big something. All right, okay, I can't. It's escaping me right now, which is crazy. But big something. All right, and she's big. All right, look at her. All right, this is what the scriptures I just read. This is it, manifested in front of you.
today here in Colombia.
On social media, you see people saying that hairstylists are overcharging. But to me, I don't feel like we're overcharging. I think we're trying to actually balance out what we're doing.
At first glance, Hair Depot looks like any other beauty supply store, but inside, owner Jakaria Vance is working hard to keep her business running strong.
So this is actually a really scary time for a lot of business owners. Right now, we're seeing increases anywhere from 10 to 35% as far as just shipping alone. So this is actually a really scary time for.
Now, you go into these stores like Walmart, stuff like that, they got all the beauty products, especially in the black beauty products, locked up, caged up and stuff, man. Okay? Got chains on them, you know, because Jake going there and stealing. All right? So they shutting it down.
a lot of business owners. Right now, we're seeing increases anywhere from 10 to 35%
Lace
as far
wig.
as just shipping alone. And that doesn't even talk about the increase of the cost of the products. Eventually, in business, everything trickles down.
Vance says her mission has always been to keep prices affordable, especially for the Black community in Colombia.
Let's be honest, you have to look presentable to get a job. For people to take you serious, for your confidence. So to have those resources continue to be stripped from people that need it the most, how do we bridge the gap?
And what about the impact of tariffs on consumers? According to economist Joseph von Nessen, the relationship between the tariffs and the price increases isn't straightforward.
Well, it really depends.
Let me see, grab this too. All right, let's bring this out real quick. Look at Eve in there shopping. Well, I told you they're getting the clothes. They got all that. This is what I was talking about earlier. Remember what I was talking about earlier with the mannequins that have the clothes on them? That's this right here. The woman will have extra perky titties and an extra fat butt, on the mannequin to fit the clothes. To try to, mimic Jake's build. All right. This is all to get to draw in the Eve woman. Okay. So instead of our the money going to the household and building the structure for the house, is going into the pockets of these heathens. It says Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. It says, envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. These women, they're envying their oppressor. Okay, they're trying to be like their oppressors. That's why they're wearing the weave, the blonde hair. You're trying to be like your oppressors. That's why they said to get a job. They want to,
According to economist Joseph von Nessen, the relationship between the tariffs and the price increases isn't straightforward.
Well, it really depends on the individual business, but in general, to the extent that tariffs are implemented on the materials that many local businesses are utilizing, then they are going to face cost increases. A tariff is nothing more than a tax on imported goods, so it raises the cost of purchasing those materials. And for some businesses, they absorb those costs. For
$60
others,
for a
they
pack
have
of
to
hair.
pass those along to their consumers.
For stylists and braiders, the cost of doing business is climbing quickly.
Unfortunately, hairstylists, braiders, barbers are really going to be, affected by this, because where a service was once $200, let's just say, the hair may have been $50. We're looking at potential increases of $150, $200, and that's before we even get money for the service that we're providing. That's just the materials.
Shawanda Wright knows the struggle firsthand. With more than 30 years of experience as a stylist, she says rising tariffs are driving up the cost of hair products, and stylists are feeling the pinch.
We were non-essential, and when things got bad in COVID, and we were the first people to go out of work. So if the products and the prices increase here for anything, that puts us out of work first. So we're not going to be able to work. Our clients won't be able to get their hair done. People will be walking around not looking their best, not feeling their best, because they just can't afford it.
Vance says she's still committed to giving back to the community, including offering free hair days where parents can bring their kids in for complimentary styling.
My sister went into the beauty supply store today. She went in there for 2 packs of hair. The 2 packs of hair was originally $2.99. Y'all want to know how much they charge you for it now? $11.99.
I was just at the hair store, and the lady gonna tell me, please get what you gonna get today, because all my shipments was 35% higher. I gotta mark all this shit up. And this is the shit I'm talking about. This is the shit I'm talking about. Like, the hair store ain't been cheap in a minute. What you mean you gotta raise the prices? But I didn't make her explain, because I know who fault this is. Okay? This shit is a Trump tax. Keep Biden's name out your motherfucking mouth, bitch. I could afford edge control when he was in office.
That was the problem.
Tariffs have hit the beauty supply store. Whatever you need to go get it now. $55 for this scarf, unless it's going to grow my hair 102 inches overnight.
$55 for a scarf.
Slide that back.
Hey, we just read that, bro. You can't make this up. We literally just read that about the scarves in Isaiah 3. Okay, about the scarves, the bonnets, all that. $55 for a scarf, a piece of fabric. You better go get a shirt, a used shirt in the dirty clothes hamper. Okay, what? And a lot of these women, they make the men powerball this stuff for them. You gonna pay to get my hair done? Bitch, no. You better go get a comb and spray some water on it. Okay? Which, by the way, too, with Jake, bro, you know, Jake, our hair is kinky. You know, your hair is kinky. I know this from when, you know, dealing with my mom when she did hair growing up, and also I had long hair. I used to get my hair braided, you know, when I was younger. To make your hair easier to comb through, just wet it. All you got to do is wet it, you know, and it'll be easier to comb through. You know, wet it, style it, be done with it. All right, but you're gonna get used to that, man. All this wearing wigs and all that stuff, that shit coming to an end. All right, and rightfully so. We can't wait. You're going to see people for who they really are. She said women are going to be looking the best, feeling their best. You're going to see people for who they really are, not the facade they putting on, you know, to deceive you.
See a video, this lady said that the tariffs have reached her beauty supply. Don't piss me off, tariff. Please don't. Look, I'm talking about tariff. Tariff, Trump, don't piss me off. I'm on my way to and I'm really hoping, I'm just really hoping that this is some more shit.
Sis, apparently the tariffs have hit the beauty supply store. I just seen the video of somebody say that she went in there to get something that was originally $2.99 and now it's $11.99. What? Okay, so I don't know who needs to hear this, but if your beauty supply store have not went up yet, you know what to do. Leave some for us. But you know what to do. Go ahead and stock up, okay? And everybody thinks like it's just on hair. No, like we go in there, we don't go in there just for hair. Like you got all kinds of stuff in there that you can get outside of hair, okay? And you got, you know, your grease, your gel, your oils, you know, needle and thread, like all kind of stuff that we go in there and get, the moisturizer, everything, okay? Apparently it is going up, okay? I also another video yesterday where a beauty supply.
And we was talking about this too at camp last night. You know, Jake men. You might go into a beauty store like that to get a brush. You know, they got the wave brush, the wave grease, and stuff like that, which we don't really, you know, get all into that stuff. But if you want a brush just to brush your hair, they got boar bristle. You know, you got to go online to get the vegan brush. Like I have a vegan brush. You know, but the majority of them brushes they sell you in those stores is boar bristle, which means you're brushing your hair with bristles from a boar, from an unclean animal, a dead unclean animal at that, which is off, you know, completely wickedness, man. But they do that on purpose to keep Jake in sin. So if you got a brush you're brushing your hair with, hey, you might want to throw that brush away, you know, and get you a brush that's going to be, you know, they got vegan brushes, you know, where it's not, you know, mixed with animal, you know, parts or whatever.
So was talking about they're trying to figure out what they're going to do and how they can cater to their customers without trying to go up too much in price, right? I don't know. Okay, a lot of people in the comments like, oh my God, just wear your hair, yada yada yada. Everybody don't have hair to wear. Everybody don't have that. Everybody don't have hair to wear on their own. Okay, some people have to wear units, and that's okay. Okay, everybody don't want to walk around feeling the air touch their scalp. I don't know, but y'all need to figure that out. Y'all know what you're supposed to do, okay? So leave some for us. Don't go do too much, okay? But get what you need. Okay, love y'all. Bye.
All right, so let's talk about these tariffs. So these tariffs are impacting the beauty supply stores across the United States, not just us, but across the United States. We have gotten notifications from our vendors like Shake and Go, Outre, Sensational, Janet Collection, and others that prices has changed, some up to 30%. That's a huge jump, guys. And so I will tell you guys right now, we have kept our prices the same for right now. We have more than enough inventory in our store, minus a couple of things, for us to sell what we have at our current pricing right now. I keep saying right now because once we start reordering like our braid hair, our like pack hair, our wigs, all of those things, I don't know what those prices are going to look like. I honestly don't. But we're keeping an eye on it. I'm making the decision to hold off on ordering certain things until I feel like this situation might resolve itself. I don't know when that is. I don't know what that's going to look like. But just to let you guys know, we have more than enough braid hair. We have more than enough lashes. We have more than enough pack hair. We have wigs. We have still everything you guys need without the escalated price.
Public service announcement. So in case you didn't think that the tariffs were going to change things for you, I
I'm here to tell you that it's most definitely about to hit y'all pockets, especially for those of you who wear weave and extensions. I just left the beauty supply, and a popular hair brand that everybody has been wearing called Glossy is a, kind of an intermediate kind of hair that I will purchase for clients. But this is the same exact beauty supply that I shop at all the time. So this is just a little word to the wise. If you are a person that, has it in your means to kind of stock up on some hair, I would strongly advise it. Because we don't know what it's going to look like out here. The prices are going to be so high and unaffordable that people are, going to have to find alternatives, which, you know what I'm saying, we can make up prices definitely going up. And they're talking within the next couple of weeks. Glossy is only the first brand that they've seen a increase in the price due to the tariffs that are going to be placed upon us. So that's just my little nugget for y'all. Be blessed, and talk to y'all later.
Y'all listen. This trade war between China and the U.S. is just getting started, and I honestly don't see no end in sight. So Trump hit China with a 145% tariff on goods. China hit back with 125% tariff on goods. Now, mind you, China don't really get nothing like that from the U.S., but the U.S., we get a lot from China. So that means, let's say you purchase $1,000 worth of goods. That means you're gonna pay 125% tariff to get your goods. So the people who will be impacted the most from this are small business owners who import goods from China. And basically, economists are saying 80% of those small businesses will not survive this tariff war because they just cannot afford it.
That's another thing.
And just for the everyday...
That's another thing, too. They shutting down these businesses, these small businesses, these mom and pop shops. They shutting them down, okay? They're through, which this is all a part of the plan. This is all a part of, this great reset to shut down these mom and pop shops where you're not going to be able to make money, having your own business, They're going to shut all that down. And then all you're going to have is these major stores, these major, box stores. And that's about it, which even to go in there, you're going to have that MOTB, okay? Because if you have these, these mom and pop shops, you may go in there and be able to, bargain, okay, or barter certain objects. May be able to do trades. They don't want that. They want you complete and total control, okay? So they're going to shut all that down, and then you're going to have to go to one place, one source to get all this stuff. It's all according to their plan, all right? And it's going to affect you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Indians the most, because you don't own anything here. You don't have any stocks, any assets. All you have is a little bit of dollars in your pocket, and you spend it on bullshit like this. You see her hair, that hairstyle might have cost her $300-400 by the end of it, which is a complete waste of money. If our woman had, some self-respect, and they just, took care of themselves properly, did your own hair, or just covered your hair like the scriptures say. This is real quick. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 5. It says, "But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head, for that is even all one." For that is even all one as if she were shaven. So you woman, you're supposed to have your heads covered. You're supposed to have hair on your head. All right. You got, like I said, you got women that's going bald head, that's shaving their heads off. Okay, you're supposed to have hair on your head, but even furthermore, you're supposed to have your head covered. Like those, Islamic women, they'll have their head covered. They'll have their whole body covered, really. It says, "For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered." And it's a shame for a woman to not have any hair, okay? So you supposed to have your head covered. Okay, you're not supposed to walk around with your head, you know, all out like that. You know, showing all your hair. Okay. Let's play some more.
A person outside of small business owners, the prices for us are gonna go up. Like prices on everything, your groceries, your clothing, your electronics. If something break down in your house and you need to replace it, let's say you need a new refrigerator, the price of that refrigerator is gonna double. Mind you, the prices are already higher than they were before COVID, okay? So the prices are up, wallets are down, people don't really have money like that. Now, mind you, China, like, whatever, let's do it, because they have tools in place to protect their economy and also to protect their consumers, their citizens. They're not worried about their economy, job loss, and all of that. Of course, the U.S., what do we have in place to protect the consumer?
Which, truthfully, China's catching hell too, okay? Because they're making money off of America, really off of you niggas. They're making money, so they're catching a little bit of hell too. But the hell they're catching is nothing compared to the hell that you about to catch here in America, okay? Truthfully, they save their money up. Jake spend their money on $400 worth of plastic hair. Like, come on.
So literally, if y'all president don't get it together, we gonna feel this economic earthquake. We will, all households, middle class households and poor households will feel this economic shake. And I'm sure some of the wealthy will feel it too, especially if their businesses are based on imports. He's saying that they're in negotiation with China, but China says there is no negotiation at hand. We all know this man is a big liar. So we really don't know what is about to happen.
Yeah, because Trump done messed up. The pride of their heart have deceived them. Trump done messed up. Trump done got proud. Trump done showed his ass. Now they saying, you know what? No, we good. China sent a couple 100,000 of those what is it? Those containers here, and niggas was smiling. Oh yeah, we good. And they was empty. Okay, gotcha. All right, so it's gonna be bad. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 3 and 4 in the NLT. The Egyptians will lose heart and will confuse their plans. They will plead with their idols for wisdom and call on spirits, mediums, and those who consult with spirits of the dead. I will hand Egypt over to a hard, cruel master. Okay, Trump is that cruel lord. A fierce king will rule them. And you see what Trump doing? This nigga's fierce. A fierce king will rule them, says the Lord of heaven's armies. Yeah, a fierce king is ruling right now. And you see what he doing. He bringing hell and suffering upon you people, man. You feeling it. You catching hell. All right? So that's it on that. All right? That's the point. It's the beloved elder, Apostle Aram Lab.
All right.
So I want to show you this. I'll close out with this right here. I'll show you this. All right? Because you got the makeup, the weave. All right, I want to go to my shorts. See how I go about that.
BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is I Will Punish the World for Their Evil. And pretty much I'm joined with the elder Tanaka. And we were talking this morning.
Salakia.
And he mentioned that. And I said, you know what? That'll be the title for the lesson. You know, for the walk and talk for today. And, you know, the Lord ain't just going to destroy this place just for the hell of it, even though he can, if he wanted to. He's the Most High. He can do whatever he wants. But
Bear with me 1 second.
He is just, fair, and he does warn the people.
Let me bring this out. No, they finna bring me this studio. Let's see. Let's go back over here. But this is 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 14. Doth not nature itself teach you that if it does not nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him. So men ain't supposed to have long hair. Okay, that's another thing too that's gonna get snuffed out. These men with long hair acting like women, all right, being emotional, effeminate. Hey, that's gonna be a thing of the past too. It says, but if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given her for a covering. So women are supposed to have long hair. That's why Eve wearing this weave. That's why that's a big thing about this weave stuff, because these women understand they're supposed to have long hair. Okay, a woman that does not have long hair is you know, it's not the way things are supposed to be. Put it like that. It says, but if any man seem to be contentious, we have no such custom, neither the churches of the Most High. And men will argue about that long hair and shit. All right, they'll argue about it, fuss and fight, which shows you that they're being contentious, and they're being contentious because a lot of these men have become like women. Okay, let me see if I can find this real quick. Bear with me 1 second. This computer takes forever, so let's get it. I put a short up a couple weeks ago, maybe. All right. Let's see. Oh man, what's this? That's a lot. Cause they're trying to flag me for that plan. So yeah, I'm not making any monetary gain off of that. I didn't do that. All right. Let me see if I can find these shorts, man. This thing is should be able to play it from over here. We'll see. I doubt it though. This is it right here. Okay, let's play this real quick. I'm gonna close out with this.
After makeup, before makeup, 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 after makeup, before makeup.
That's how a lot of these women gonna look.
After makeup, before makeup, after makeup, before makeup.
That's how a lot of these women gonna look when this place go down.
After makeup,
Shit freezing up, man.
before makeup.
That's a locky about. I gotta get this computer checked out.
After makeup,
I really gotta get a new computer. I want to get a new computer, but you know, this is how a lot of these women gonna look in that day, man. Okay, monsters. Okay, when there ain't no more weave, ain't no more wake up, ain't no more none of that bullshit they've been putting on masks to mask themselves. This is what you're gonna see. Okay, creatures from the depths of hell coming out. All right, and they're gonna be saying, please help me. And it's Isaiah 4:1. Let's grab that real quick. Okay, because see, Jake thought Isaiah 4:1 mean they're gonna have all the women. They're gonna be, amen. By the time Isaiah 4:1 come, you ain't gonna want these women. All right, you ain't gonna want nothing to do with them. Like the elders and apostles say, you're gonna be beating them off you with a stick. Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Right? Women are going to be, cleaving unto a man, begging the man to be with them, to keep them, to save them, to help them. okay? And you're not going to get any help. You're going to be left, you know, to be destroyed, all right, truthfully. And that's going to be the judgment of Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI for all the pride, all the arrogancy. A lot of you women are going to be in trouble, okay? For the hell you put upon these men, the disrespect you've caused these men. All right, it's only a matter of time, man. But you get the picture. Hey, and I'm going to close out with that. Went a little longer than I expected, but hey, through the Spirit, we pray was all edifying to the hopeful elect. Double honors to our teachers, the elders, and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us his truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad. Shalom to the 144,000. Shalom.